Hello, Cassandra Williams here, founder and CEO of EducationalInnovation360.com, a consultant group geared towards supporting teachers' one-to-one learning. We're an online collaborative resource for teachers and an online community. These are interactive learning modules with 24 to 48 hour feedback and ongoing support for implementing English language arts for educators. We are a supportive community with embedded professional development for teachers locally and abroad. Thank you, Ignite, for working with us this semester. Let me tell you about our E-Instructional coaching system. We work with urban charters and public schools on Title I, low SES, Title II, training high-quality teachers, and Title III, ELL or second language learners. Our process is easy. We research a school and district and region. We walk the classrooms to identify the culture and climate. We do intake surveys to identify needs and talk to stakeholders. We talk to teachers and we explain them the process throughout the year and provide one-to-one professional development training for teachers, giving administrators monthly updates. Last but not least, we visit the school and overview the data and graphs and explain with video to show the results of the year. Here is Brooke, the co-principal at Ignite.
Our vision ultimately is that the kids will be accelerated, so they will be performing at least a grade level above, that they will consistently have exposure to African and African American history throughout all core subjects, that we will retain our staff, and that we will continue to have the same teachers, but they will also want to continue to grow in ability. But it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be 90 minutes of literacy instruction where a teacher would be teaching a small group, an IA would be working with a small group, and then kids would be on computers receiving personalized instruction. The new teacher, we just ordered her kit because, again, we didn't anticipate having to add another second grade class, so that was a challenge too, okay? And then in regard to lesson plans, I feel like I've been very fair with my teachers. They have to just mark up like the given curriculum that they were given. They don't have to make lesson plans from scratch. Yeah. They just have to mark up. They have to mark up for differentiation. They have to mark up for rigor. They have to mark up for checks for understanding. They have to mark up for engagement. They have to mark up for brain-based and cultural relevance. And they do it with a color coding system. I think it's helpful. I think that a lot of times during the day, we just run out of time. And so I think that to be able to coach online is a way that you could do it after school, you do it after hours when you're in your pajama pants. Sorry. But we have a long way to go. So I don't at all want to toot our horn because we have a long way to go. No.
The methodology consists of research, classroom walkthroughs, and past studies by experts in the field. Our model consists of investing in educators' one-to-one professional development to improve teacher capacity. We use observations as well as this cycle. In this example, we will use 5th grade and a 2nd grade classroom.
I've been teaching in a classroom setting approximately 10 years. I've been in the field of education and social services since I graduated college in '99. That probably could grow would be the pacing of it for our students. This is definitely effective for students who are on level or close to it. It's difficult to teach environmental when they have never heard the word environment.
What is your vision? What do you see that?
Well, basically being someone that can meet with me and I can talk about just the students in my class, and especially with differentiation, because like honestly, I really have a kindergarten class. Like it's a 2nd grade on the door, but I'm really a kindergarten teacher most days. Some of the students, I'm a 4th grade teacher. Yeah. So it really just depends on my student. I have a few that are high, most of them are low. And so just being able to differentiate in the time that I'm given. And so just coming in, just letting me know that, this is a good strategy that works. But I want it to be things that are evidence-based, not this is what we used to do or whatever. I want it to be something that is effective instruction or intervention with my kids.
All right, our day is going to look like this. This morning we're going to continue with our I-Step prep. We're going to continue with our writing. We start.
Put it on this desk, he'll be back.
What?
Elbows over ears. So I know that you're ready. step number 1, Yasmin?
Graphic organizer.
Which is called what phase, Jerson?
Pre-writing.
Pre-writing, where we use our graphic organizers and we also use notes. Kennedy, what is step number 2?
Writing.
The actual writing part of it. What is step number 3? What is our step number 3? Gabby? Revising. Changes can occur. Improvements should be made. Revising is, as a reminder, is where we have completely written our paper so we think. And then last but not least is, Shamara, what is our last step? Publishing. This is when we're saying, hey, my paper's great. It's awesome. I'm ready to turn it in.
Eric had many different feelings on his campus.
Stop there. Okay. The first thing I hear as a reader is that there's a boy named Eric. I have to be honest, Cassandra, I have to dig further into it because I've been, doing the school stuff and
No, I understand.
that game and stuff, so I haven't really dug so far into it to really be able to say, okay, how do I fit this in or how do I make this happen? I think it was too small of a sample.
Okay.
I have had special ed come in and, we've sat down and discussed the level the kids are at and their ability. Like I said earlier, like they're an old car. Like I literally have to get them going on small things at a time.
Hello. We did get a chance to debrief, but don't worry, I'll catch you next week. You've been teaching writing for a year now. Things that you've been going throughout the whole year is what is pre-writing, right? What are the steps of writing? They should know already. And try to ask them of what is the next step, as well as what does that entail. And if they don't get it right, go ahead and correct them and try to get that answer out of them from each person. It's the end of the year, like I said, and they should be giving you more than what they're giving you.
Are there any questions about what I expect to see? There are various forms of narrative writing. Give me an example, Stephen.
Personal narrative.
Another example of a narrative.
Fiction.
Does fiction tell a story?
Yes.
Okay. What's another example of narrative?
Realistic fiction.
Realistic what?
Fiction.
Is that telling a story?
Yes.
Okay, give me the second example.
Autobiographies.
Autobiographies. What is an autobiography?
A story that a person wrote about him or herself.
Very good. Ruth?
In a personal narrative, you write about one thing that happened. In an autobiography and a biography, you write about your whole life.
With my 5th grade teacher, I did the same thing, topics to explore, what are some topics they were interested in, and areas of possible support depending on the first video. And some of the things that he wanted to know is how do I provide scaffolding for my students? How do we have support with vocabulary? And he wanted technology, but definitely I started off with some of the things he does very well. In our initial meeting, we talked about writing in your Teacher's Edition, blooms and scaffolds. And our second meeting, he wasn't able to make the debrief or watch any of the videos, but we did talk about building background knowledge. And in the third video, same thing. We talked about differentiating the questions.
Good morning,
Camille, can I get you to trade places with Alante? Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing today? Raise your hand if you have a question. Does anybody have any questions about what we're going to do for reading? To silently tiptoe back to your seats. That's for right. Okay. Did you have a question, sweetie? Every eye. 3. I need every eye, even those book shopping. I hear way too much noise. And let's start silent roll. This is me talking to you. Who can tell me what they remember about what a synonym is? So you forgot. I want you to call your dad.
What? No. No. Yelling.
If they yell, what's another thing? What's another word that means the same as yell?
Silent.
Talk to him, but he won't take the phone. So when you go back to your seats, this is what you will fill out. And this one's about Chloe. It says, now that you know what happens at the end of the story, what would you do differently if you were Chloe? Can you connect this with being an ally in our community? And down at the bottom, I put the quote that you all really liked when we read this on Tuesday. It says, this is what kindness does. Then what do we do, Camille? Then we start silent reading. If you forget at any time, remember I told you every day, if you forget what you're supposed to be doing, you can always look at our anchor chart and it'll help remind you. Remember, I am off limits. You won't be able to ask me. But you do have 2 people that you can go to and ask them for help. Okay? Okay, so there were some things that I noticed during our independent work time, but I want to see what you all saw. What worked well today? What do you guys think worked really well today? Tamarion? Completing our tasks. People were working and completing their tasks.
I was so impressed with them yesterday, but there was a lot of talking but today they did much better. I think like after we debriefed and I talked to them about, how yesterday went, today they did much better. So I think reviewing that, what the expectation is, and having it posted it made a difference yesterday where they could even reference that and actually I posted it Tuesday, and I think just having that every day has made a difference. Yeah, I was able to get to more than one group, right? Yes. Even though we had a short amount of time, I was able to get to more than one group, yes.
That'll be the finish. That'll be the total end.
Well, if you want to come afterwards, you can.
I love you.
I don't have I-STEP. I'm not a testing grade, so it doesn't really affect me. So if you want to come or if you have some feedback or, just suggestions for anything, because I'm still adjusting. So, please feel free to come in.
Hello, let me just start by saying you did a great job last week. This week, I'm going to show you phase 3 and 4, and I really want you to take a look at what you're working on in a small group. Usually, first grade is how to decode, right? Second grade is fluency, and third is comprehension. So, based off of your students, your NWEA scores, and maybe some of your tests that you've done in the classroom, you can pretty much group students and identify what their needs are.
Okay, today's workshop starts with our workshop menu. We have some must-dos and we have a may-do.
All right, I'm excited for your phase 3 and phase 4. What I really want you to work on is those small groups. Always make sure you have some type of visual. Is it an anchor chart in the back where you're working on skills, phonics and fluency, or is it a piece of paper in front of them where you're actually working with them? Many times verbal with small groups, it really is a challenge. Make sure you get some type of data, work from the data, and always have visuals. Good luck. The second grade teacher was interested in independent work time, all 4 phases. The teacher asked for more meetings as well as examples for each piece. One of the strengths of the teachers were strong voice and positive framing. In the initial meeting, we saw video examples. In the second meeting, I explained student expectation and modeled the behavior I want to see. In the third, I definitely talked about data. When we pull students in the back, how do we gather data to support student learning?
JR, and I work for Elder Diggs Ignite Achievement Academy, Old School 42 IPS. I've had 10 years inside of the classroom as a professional licensed teacher. My classes are they were really slow starters because they're so far behind academically. I mean, I have 4th graders that are literally reading on BR levels. My highest children are just reading on grade level. You said some things to me, I think in one of the first emails, I was like, yeah, that's right, yeah. They just jogged my memory to, some things I remembered from a long time ago that you brought back up, and then a couple of things that I wasn't even thinking about. So, and I've been able to put some of those things in what I'm doing, and hopefully eventually I'll get better at it. For me individually, I just think that, again,
just more opportunities, more dates, more times to be observed like that. In a non-judgmental, this is going in your file way, but this is just something that's going to help you grow in general type way.
Of, you know, because I didn't know really what I was getting into, but I was very open-minded. I like to be observed and to get feedback. I do love that you give immediate feedback and things that I'm able to apply in the classroom. Before, I loved the video examples and things like that. So I was able to look at those and just even think about, you know, how my own kids and, you know, what language I can use that they would be receptive to, assignments or homework. Just, I feel like it just gives me something that I can say, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know, this is, and then I'm applying it, and also giving me the time. Oh, you said things to improve. I'm giving you all the things that I like.
Yeah.
And then also giving me time where I don't feel pressure to be the best at this by this date, and then move on to like the next step. It's just giving me more time to improve. So I think that mentor piece is very important, but I do feel like in that environment that I am by myself.
The 2 points of data I want to look at is definitely the 2nd grade and the 4th grade. What I want you to particularly take a look at is right here, right? Think about the different groups in 2nd and 5th grade students across the nation from the beginning of the year, 2017, to the middle of the year, 2018, based on the NWEA data and growth chart. The standard growth for a 2nd grade classroom is 4.5. By the middle year, a night grew an amazing 11.45 points. Same thing with the 4th grade classroom. In the 4th grade classroom, we're 2.3, which is the average for the nation. But Ignite, once again, grew 7.3 points, which is clear. It grew more than 3 times the rate of the national growth. These are impeccable results. Let me tell you some quick facts. Right now, our capacity is about 60 students with educators, individual growth plan, and ongoing reflection. In the reflection, the teachers are asked key questions to have them question some of the things that they've done in the classroom, but it's also there to guide them and support them so they'll start asking themselves these questions. And the data is very important because eventually the teachers will start to use data as their reflection to give the next steps. Eventually, the coaching model can be extended to secondary education as well as providing a pipeline for future teachers alike. The 3 things I really focus on is analyze the phase by using evidences, align to the people and outcomes, and act, work with teachers to devise a plan. And so some of the typical results are improved reading scores, NWEA scores, I-STEP scores, teacher retention. I did with the reflection of the teacher that said, you know, sometimes I feel alone. And so some teachers are isolated in their silos, and that's something we will definitely address in the near future. Customized learning. One teacher, one size does not fit all, and we're finding that each teacher is on their individual path to make their classroom that much better. Monthly administrative updates let the principals know what skills are their schools working on, and that's key too. If you have 12 to 15 teachers at a school site and they're all focusing on classroom management, then yes, that is the focus for that semester or maybe even that year. So that is the month to month update data is key for any administrator that's looking to implement this program. Also, the unlimited resources. So currently we are connected to a university, and these university resources are provided for the teacher free of cost as part of their membership. And unlimited professional development. One time the teacher called me for things that weren't necessarily focused on their class, but it still ties into the well-being of the educators who still need ongoing support. Yes, our new teachers are digital natives. The percentage of tech-savvy millennials are on the rise. This is the next generation. I now have teachers that are recording their own classroom that want to upload it to my website to get ongoing professional development. We are at an emergency crisis. Teachers, they want help, they want support, but we're not meeting the needs. And so this program meets the needs of the teachers, accessibility to resources, one-to-one observation and support, without being punitive or being evaluative. Just support in the everyday job. The push to improve student test scores, particularly on low-income students, has led to a number of changes in the classroom and put large accountability measures on teachers. So the cycle continues to change. Shortages are still primarily in math, science, and world languages, as well as special education. If you take a look at the chart in 2010 and the numbers in each category, you'll see the dramatic change from 2010 to 2014 and 15. And now you're finding classrooms who are struggling to find teachers, let alone substitutes or replacements in school systems. The teacher enrollment programs around the world um, for 2009. So what we're talking about is all the educators that are studying to be teachers in the pipeline. They're in college now, with 691,000 back in 2009. Currently, well, which is in 2014, there's 451,000. That's a major decrease of 35%. We are losing our teachers at a rapid rate. We must do something to continue to support them in the classroom and to make sure they sustain the lifetime of our programs. I would like to thank you, Ignite Academy, for being our pilot school. We are excited to talk about ongoing growth and support teachers in the classroom. Here's my information. Feel free to contact me if you need more help and support. Have a wonderful day.